Okay, welcome back, guys, and welcome to another episode of 5 Years to 40, the podcast where we are thinking, talking, and taking tremendous steps through our 30s towards a fascinating and fabulous 40-year-old life. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my least favorite F words. And by the end of the episode, I hope to share 3 quick tips that I've learned from personal experience that really helps you to kind of get past it and get back into your journey of getting to unicorn age, which we agree is age 40. Right. So today we're talking about failure. I like F words, guys. I say Fridays, a happiest day of the week. Failure, not so much. But the truth is, if we are really trying to be successful in whatever dimension we choose to be successful in, if it's in health, if it's in finances, if it's in the quality of relationships you have, if it is in your career, we have to get really acquainted with the word failure, and we have to get really acquainted with knowing how to see it and move past it. Now, this particular experience, if I can share a story with you guys. Some of you may have known, I may have shared in earlier episodes that I'm actually in grad school, and in the beginning of grad school, it was challenging. It's something new. But I got to the point where I was really comfortable. I had a great group. I belonged to a really phenomenal cohort, people who support each other. I was doing good in grades. I made the dean's list. Girl was doing good. Then I met up on a course that really threw me. And midway through the course, I got an F. And let me tell you, I had no idea that this thing would make me so disoriented, because I thought, before this, I was like, strong and affable. I could just kind of get past things. I thought I was a little more resilient than that. But the truth is, at that point when it happened, when I saw the F, it just really made me feel bad. I went through this whole shock and awe, like, this can't be me. This doesn't identify with me. I win. I do things well. It made me go into this, questioning myself and how did this happen? And then I start feeling badly and feeling sad about it. And, whether it's in a F grade, or it is in a failing relationship, or it is in seeing, only double digits in your bank account, or it is in learning something disturbing about your health, or it is having challenges at work. In this age group that we're in, or it's learning that, a parent is sick, or you have to become a caretaker, or your child is having a challenge in school. At our age, all of these things are things that we face on a regular, and I don't know, I feel as though when you have to deal with those things that are outside of your normal scope, it kind of makes you feel off balance. And when things don't go how you plan, the word failure comes up. So and if you're not prepared to deal with it, it can be a little iffy, a little tricky. But here's what I learned. When you face things that don't go according to plan, and don't go according to plan in a negative way, you still have to trust and believe that there's always a way through it. Things always work out. So at the end of this, just remember, things always work out. And your reaction to things, or your attitude towards a crisis at work, crisis at home, whatever it is, the attitude makes a difference. It can either be an ordeal or it can be an adventure. So let's use the same for example I used earlier in terms of my grades. I could have said, well, that's it. I'm not going to be continuing anymore because I got an F, so I'm not any good. I'm just going to leave it. Or I could have decided, look, it means I have to do a little deeper. I have to go a little harder, and I have to reprioritize and resurface better than before. It's all about your attitude towards the challenge or the quote-unquote F-word failure. So the things that I know that works is recovery. When you face something challenging or you face a failure, recover. You're human. It happens to all of us. So don't feel like, this is happening to me and this is so terrible. Take the time to really recover and really reach out to people who might have gone through the same thing. Let's say you're going through a divorce. Let's say you're going through a breakup. Let's say you're going through a death with a parent or a loved one. Reach out. You're not the only person that's broken, and you're not the only person, well, not broken, that might be having a hard time or going through this. You're not the only person, and there's a lot of strength in numbers, especially in times when you're at your weakest. So, recover, reach out, take some time for reflection, ask for help when you need it, right? So bask in that. Another really cool tip, I think, is to know that, listen, multi-purpose is for detergents. It is not for humans. Stop multitasking. That was actually one of the things in reviewing. When I rested and recovered, I realized I was trying to multitask too much. I was trying to do school, and I was trying to take care of my daughter, and trying to take care of my home, and trying to take care of friends, and trying to take care of other people, and trying to take care of. It was too much. I was juggling too much, and I wasn't taking enough time to rest or recover. So I ended up in it. So the second tip is to remember that you don't have to multitask. You really do not need to do everything on your own. Realize that there's folly in that theory, especially for Black women. And that's going to be a whole other podcast, because there is so much belief that, Black women are superhuman. In some ways it could be true, but we don't have to do it all, right? And thirdly, move forward. And instead of suffering when you're moving forward, like, oh, this happened to me. Oh, this is happening to me. And you have every right to grieve. You have every right to talk about it to your friends. That's why in the first step we said, reach out, rest, and recover. But I feel as though moving forward, you get to choose again. You get to choose how you move forward. And one of the most effective ways to move forward, the most inspiring way you can choose to move forward, instead of having a sob story, you can have a share story. So share your experiences with other people. Like right now I'm telling you about how I failed. I was in a mid-grade with an F, and it took a lot of work to just get myself back to where I was. I ended the course off with a B. Yay me. But it took a lot of work. I'm saying to you now though, that you can stay stuck in a story, whatever it is you perceive that failure to be, or you can decide, look, I am going to not suffer through this. I'm not going to say that I suffered through this. I'm going to say that this was a lesson, and I'm going to share the lesson, to teach others and help others who might be going through a similar situation, right? So that's it. That's my 3 quick tips for dealing with failure. And by the way, my auntie Oprah says there is no such thing as failure. There is only you either win or you learn. Let's take that from the top. There is no such thing as failure. You either win or you learn. And I want you to remember that going forward. So reach out when you need to, when stuff happens, and things will happen on this wonderful journey. as we're writing our books of our lives, as we're going through our 30s and heading towards this fabulous, fascinating 40-year-old life, things will happen. When they do, remember the wisdom of just taking a step back. Reflect on where you are, reflect on where you're going, and reach out to others to help you if you're in pain or if you're in conflict or turmoil, whatever you're going through. Just reach out. It always helps. Take your time as you go through things. You don't need to multi-purpose. Don't need to be trying to do everything at the same time. And lastly, remember, your story is up to you. You can choose a story of where you say, oh, I'm suffering and this is happening so bad. Or you can say, hey, I've been through this and this is what I did. This is how I dealt with it. This is how I got through it. So I'm encouraging you to, move past, not in suffering, but in sharing a story to inspire others. Yeah, that's it. And thank you so much for sharing this podcast with us. Please remember to follow us on Facebook. The group is called 5 Years to 40. There's a link in this description. Listen to the podcast on Anchor. We're also on Spotify and we're on Apple iTunes. And the link for Apple iTunes is also in this description. And share the podcast with other people. Let them know about this exciting journey that we're on. And let them join. And let's hear your thoughts on today's podcast. And if there's anything that you need to add or take away, or is there anything you would like us to create more of, because the content has to be relevant, guys. And if it's relevant to you, then it's going to be relevant to us, and we're going to talk more about it. All right, so thank you so much for sharing. We love you for sharing with us, and have an amazing day. Oh, one quick thing. If you really like my extra earrings, because when I was recording, I thought I'd be a little extra, then be sure to check out the pop-up thrift shop Grenada, where we are. It's a very dear friend of ours, of this 5 Years to 40 podcast, and they have this amazing thrift shop where you can get new and gently used items, and these are one of the things that are usually there. So follow their page. I'm going to put their page in the link also. And so if you're in Grenada, be sure to shop at the pop-up thrift shop. And thank you so much for doing this journey with us on 5 Years to 40. Have a great day, guys, and stay loved.